G'day fellas, and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in on the south side of the map, playing in the colour blue as the English. It's the Muslim. And in the north of the map, playing as the English also in the colour orange. It is Salami. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a casted game. We're here on the public update preview, and we're about to witness an English mirror. I think this is the first English mirror that we're going to be seeing between two of the world's best players. Of course, for anybody unfamiliar with Salami, let me start by introducing him as the Wallalol God. Yes, that's the nickname that we give him because he is so damn good at the Wallalols. He's had some incredible highlight reels, this guy. So maybe we see a Wallalol out today. I think it's probably a little less likely. The English obviously do want to contest relics in that castle age, but at the same time, there are other things to contest as well. So I think it's probably unlikely to see that kind of play coming out from him today. Over on the other side, of course, if you haven't heard of the Muslim, well, I'd like to know what rock you've been sleeping under, and I'm curious exactly how much you're paying a night for it, because it must be quite comfy, because it's been an awful long time you've been under there. The Muslim, one of the world's best RTS gamers, most prolific RTS legends that there is. He's up there with the likes of Grubby. I mean, I can't really think of many other people that have been so, I guess, what's the word? Just multi-dimensional when it comes to RTS games. So the Muslim, he's been around for a long time, and I suspect he's going to be around a lot longer as well, and he's one of the best in Age of Empires 4 at the moment. I'll leave links in the description to where you can watch both of these players streaming live over on Twitch. Down in the description, so go check them out, go support them, go say g'day for me. Now let's talk a little bit about this game. Now my sneaking suspicion is that we're going to be seeing some fast castles coming out here. I reckon that we might see a little bit of aggression in the feudal age, but nothing too crazy. Maybe 2 longbows, 3 longbows here and there. That's all, nothing too crazy. And I think we're probably going to see town centers coming out, so 2 TCs. To be honest, I'm kind of like leaning towards this idea of going 3 TCs with the White Tower, but I just don't know exactly how good it's going to be. And the main reason is because, like, a town center is expensive, right? But a keep is also expensive, 800 resources. But a White Tower is more than just a keep. It is a keep, but it's also 2 siege workshops, it's also 2 stables, it's also 2 archery ranges, it's also 2 barracks, because it has the ability to train any unit, and it can train them twice as fast. Which means that, technically, if you aged up with the council hall, and then went up with the White Tower, you could have the equivalent of 4 archery ranges pumping out units non-stop. Now, would you want to do that in this matchup? Probably not. But it does give you a lot of flexibility, and it means that if you somehow manage to get up to the castle age and you've got the White Tower, well, you don't have to build your stables. And I think that there's probably going to be a lot of flexibility in that. Imagine, you know, you age up, your enemy is going for 2 town centers into King's Palace. You're going 2 town centers into White Tower. They've got to drop down stables. And that's a lot of... that was very, like... They've got to drop down stables. Dun, dun, dun. Not quite. They've got to drop down stables, whereas you don't have to do that. You just start making knights from your White Tower. So, I don't know. I reckon there's something to be said about it. Obviously, 3 TCs is going to eventually overtake 2 TCs. But if you've got knights out earlier and can try and get in the enemy wood line and stuff like that, you can even it up. And take a look at this. We've already got a bit of a difference out here. Council Hall coming in for Muslim, a very standard opening. 2 vills on gold. 2 vills on gold is kind of indicative of a feudal intention to play. You could be looking for something a bit more economic, though. Maybe double broadaxe, maybe wheelbarrow, something like that. But over on the other side of the map, we do have the Abbey of Kings. It is the classic English showdown, ladies and gentlemen. Who is going to come out on top? Is it going to be the Abbey of Kings for Salami? Is it going to be the English Council Hall on the south side for the Muslim? That is what we're here to find out. It is the landmark, the English landmark showdown, and I tell you what, I'm excited to see it because we've got 2 really different styles of play. So the first style of play, the Abbey of Kings, it's more orientated around the farms, more orientated around the cavalry, and the reason that is simply because you've got a knight in the king. He's basically a knight. He's not really a knight, but you know, he's probably been knighted by the Lord himself. He is the king after all. And it's more of a mobility style that's coming through with the Abbey of Kings. We've seen a lot of players look to use it in conjunction with horsemen. Compare that over to the Council Hall, and it's a much more defensive play style. But to be honest, in an English mirror, I kind of like the Council Hall a bit more. Unless we can see something crazy coming out with the Abbey of Kings, And the main reason is because of the crossbows. That's it. It all comes back to the crossbows for me. But it looks like it is going to be, there you go, five longbowmen coming out for the Muslim, heading straight over towards the enemy base. Now, what's interesting is when the king comes out, the king's going to be able to clean up all of those longbows very easily, as long as they funnel in one by one. Archery range gets thrown down straight away by our English player in the north. Now, I want to get some pictures of this because this is going on the thumbnail. This is an English landmark showdown right here. So I want to make sure that we get the best pictures possible. I'm going to wait for the king to come out. We got to wait for that king. The Abbey of Kings needs to have that king in front of it right there. Oh, I can hear him fighting. I can hear him. The scouts spotting it out. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Boom, there he is, the king. Makes his way onto the map. And he begins looking. There's the first of the longbows down on the south side, though, the council hall. Oh, geez, he's pumping out. He's pumping out longbows non-stop. And king comes in. First charge hits. And look how much damage he's able to put out here. And just remember that with this king, he's going to be able to run back towards the Abbey of Kings, and he's going to get huge value from it. So, great read by Salami in doing this. My main concern is that, sure, it might be a great read. And look at this. Palings coming down, goes around the palings, but he still gets hit by the palings. Oh, no, not like that. Look at the longbow numbers. I love the staggered palings as well. And it looks like the Muslim is going to be able to force Salami back there through the staggered palings, and 7 of these longbows going to be coming out now. Now, remember back home, we did see the archery range drop down here for Salami. Interestingly, not going into a stable, though. And behind this, take a look at the upgrades that are coming in right here for the Muslim. Wheelbarrow, double broadaxe, as we suspected. Wheelbarrow's already through for Salami. Needs to make sure that this king is staying underneath the Abbey of Kings, and you can see he's right outside the range, so he's not going to be healing up, and he could be healing up right now. You can see he was trying to get the health together, or the gold together for the age up. At least that's what my suspicion is. And now aggression on that front line. The Muslim, just when you thought that the Muslim had been countered, he managed to do it pretty well. He kept up production, and I think that was what was important. Behind this, though, has stopped production completely. We don't see any indication of a second town center coming out for these guys either. So no TCs whatsoever, no second TC at all. So it definitely seems like I was wrong on that read. I think the question for me is how soon are we going to see Castle Ages next? Because my suspicion is that it would be very, very soon. You know, when it comes to the power of Castle Age, it is absolutely huge in this matchup, and it's mainly just because of the Knight. The Knight is an incredibly strong unit. Very, very good against the English, just because of the likelihood to make longbows and their desire to make longbows. But look at this. 11 villagers down here working on that wood, and we now see the longbows moving in. Does he have enough to one-shot? I don't think he does. Oh, actually he does. I do apologize. Yeah, he's got enough to one-shot. So, as long as he can spot villagers, and you can see him trying to move the scout, he's trying to get line of sight here, but look at this. Salami doing a really nice job building that slice of pizza. Often when I'm coaching people over on Patreon, I'm telling people, look, what you want to do is you want to think of this as like a giant pizza, and you want to take a slice of pizza out of it, and that's where you want your villagers. You want them to come down into the middle here, use these trees as a natural wall, and that's exactly what he's got. And Muslim's in a little bit of a tough spot, right? Because he doesn't really want to come over here. He doesn't know what his enemy's up to. He wants to have the option to reinforce directly. Don't know what's happened with his longbows. They're just kind of chilling out for the moment. So he does hold on a little bit longer, but the king's going to be coming through. Remember, he's fully healed up from that Abbey of Kings. And now looking to make its charge away. Salami well and truly invested into those longbows. The longbow numbers coming out from the Muslim pretty high here. And the king might actually go down. My fear is that is quite a lot of longbows. And indeed, it will be going down. Rest in peace, king. That's an expensive loss right there for Salami. Going to be losing 300 resources worth of units. We'll be losing that healing aura as well, and the Muslim does have the number advantage in the longbows as well. I guess this was my question. Why are we going into longbows? Why not just go into a stable? Stable feels like it makes a lot of sense, and I think this is probably where we're going to start exploring this English matchup quite a bit. You know, the concept of Abbey of Kings versus the Council Hall. Which one's going to come out on top? And even though at the moment I feel like obviously the Abbey of Kings is not doing that well, I suspect that it's probably the longer these, not the longer, but the more matches that we start to see of English mirrors, the better that the Abbey of Kings will actually become. And you're going to have like your standard English players, and then you're going to have your Abbey English players. But look at this, we've got the king coming in once again, and he's just taken so much damage. I tell you what, maybe give him another ranged armor or something, because he manages to survive on 5 health. He gets out by the skin of his teeth. He's got to be so careful though. Where are you going, king? Get back! No, king! Oh, not like this. Salami throws away 600 resources in the space of a minute. Oh, you poor thing, Salami. That's a lot of resources down the drain. And speaking of down the drain, over on the other side of the map, we've got the Muslim, who is well and truly farmed out the wazoo here, up to about 12 farms now. And the longbow wars continue. A distinct lack of cavalry coming out for these guys, with the exception of the king, of course. And I love the Muslim just bringing in the scout. He's trying to bait these longbows into targeting the scout, doing a really good job of it. Because once there's critical mass, you can take out the scout, but in these low numbers, you never want to be doing that. And now the king. The king's back out. Round 3, baby. He's here for a party. But it's just one of those things where it's like, he's so expensive. Do you really want to just be throwing him away like that? And I don't know what happened there, but the longbows had a really, really slow movement speed. Age up, not really coming through for either of these guys yet. We're at the 10-minute 40 mark. No additional town centers. No age ups. So I'm scratching my head at the moment. Don't do it, King. Don't do it, King. King, hey, get it together, son. What's going on? Not like this. You can see he's microing for it. He's going to get it as well. 24 health. Not the king again. Salami. This is not how you're meant to play the Abbey of Kings. This is the Abbey of Kings, not the Abbey of Kills. Oh, my lord. He's getting absolutely murdered out here. Poor Salami. He's trying his best. See, the thing is, I feel like with the king, you got to kind of bring him in to tank 1 or 2 shots, and you just got to take him straight out. And I'd love to see just like, you know, 2 or 3 stables and a whole bunch of horsemen out here, and then you lead with the king. And, you know, if your enemy focuses down the king, you basically just got to be paying attention. And as soon as they start to focus down the king, you just got to pull it back almost immediately. Yeah, I think there's definitely a window there. Salami doesn't go for another king. Jeez, I wonder why. And it is going to be the White Tower that we do see. So we've got Salami coming up with an Abbey of Kings into the White Tower. Now, this is quite interesting, okay? On the other side of the map, we do have the King's Palace, so it's standard English play versus the new English play. Now, I'm just going to say, before the ending of this game, we've got one player who's playing very standard, a style that they're familiar with, a style that they've played 100 games before, against a player who is exploring. So it's important that we don't infer any outcome or any... We shouldn't infer the power of any strategy here that Salami is doing, because it's just the beginnings of this strategy, right? Like, you have a look at this in a week, and he's going to be taking Beastie to school, he's going to be taking Marine Lord to school, probably not, but you get the point, right? Like, strategies always need refining. But he does manage to get the White Tower up on the gold. That's going to give him access to a whole new gold vein. And now we can look at getting those double productions coming through. Now, I think his win condition here is going to be looking to get that Night Flood out really, really quickly. You can see it only takes 17 seconds. Want to know something cool? You can actually get Military Academy, and you can make those knights even faster. That's pretty cool. That's very cool, Drongo. Thanks for the hot tip, Drongo. No worries, guys. Veterancy coming through on longbows. Interesting decision that both of them are just sticking to longbows here. Perhaps they're not aware that cavalry exists, but I assure you guys it does. Longbows moving around on the edge of that tree. Let's see if the Muslim's able to spot this out. I suspect he's probably still going to be able to fire down upon the villagers, despite that White Tower. I don't think the range I don't think it will have the range there. How much range does that White Tower have, actually? It's got, yeah, 8 tiles of range. So there is a sweet spot right here where you should be able to hit... Oh, actually... Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. It's going to be tough for sure. That is definitely the case. But now we do see it is going to be night production coming out from the White Tower. Or on the other side, the Muslim actually yet to take out any villagers. And I think that's very interesting, the fact that, you know, you got one of the world's best players up against Salami here, and he hasn't actually taken out any villagers. So credit to Salami. Obviously, he's playing with a new strategy here, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's fallen off with the skill. Now, there's a unit inside this town center. I don't know how to see the unit. You can see it just says 1. Sacrifices the scout on the front. Knight's going to be coming out as well. He's got the king ready to roll as well. King's got plenty of health, 295. I've got a suspicion that it's going to be really important to get ranged armor when you're playing with a king. And now king going to be coming through. You know what? I'd love to see the king also provide the network of castles bonus. Nah, I'd be so busted then, dude. Look how much damage it takes, and he might actually get the kill here. Oh, 1 health! Oh, Salami. If there's a will, there is a way. And Salami looks to do it. No upgrades, though. Take a look at this. No attack upgrades versus 2 attack upgrades. That is not the best. King does manage to come back. And a couple of longbows going to be firing through the wood lines here. Over towards that top side. It looks like the knight will make its way out. +1 ranged armor. Any +2s on the way? Any +2s on the way? We've got a +2 on the way. That is good to see. And Knight's looking to clean up. This is good stuff. We hear relics getting picked up behind. We talked about relics earlier in the game. This is normally one of the main goals of your English mirror is to pick up those relics ahead of your enemy. If you can do a 3-2 split, you'll be happy even if you're the 2. But now the Knight's coming out from Muslim, and this is what changes the English matchup. Because remember, over on the other side of the map, Muslim's got access to the crossbowman if he so pleases. So once the mobility of the Knights really starts to come down, that's when the crossbowman might actually have a chance to shine. All right. Down on that south side, we do see the first of the Knights looking to try and pick up some reinforcements. It is getting chased through by that Knight, though. And Muslim's starting to look good in this position. Crossbow is going to be coming in. He's only making the crossbows from his archery range, not making them from the White Tower. Villager's going to have to evacuate for the moment. He's got a second archery range coming out as well. Remember, you can make all of your units and battering rams from your White Tower. So I do think this landmark will increase in priority. I think in my English review video, I was like, yeah, you'll never see the White Tower. I've changed my mind. I think you will probably see it. I do think that the changes were probably enough. You can just play defensive White Tower, and you're not really getting it for the fact that it's a keep. You're just getting it because it's a crazy good production building. It's like a Burgrave Palace, but it produces everything. That's kind of wild, isn't it? Like when you think about it, the strength of it. That Knight, though, getting chased. We do see the monastery does come up for the Muslim. He'll be looking to pick up the relics that are further out on the map. At the moment, it's 1-1. The Muslim going to be bringing back another relic. And Salami yet to head out with his next monk. Was going to go down to the south side, but instead going to be rallying up towards the north. And Knights and longbows, together with a couple crossbows, going to be looking to push in. At the same time, Salami's numbers are starting to look a little bit better. The main concern he's going to have are those enemy longbows. So it's a little bit of a weird way that this matchup works once it gets to this stage. Because you can go Crossbow Knight. The problem is if your enemy goes Longbow Knight, the longbows technically should kill the crossbows, but the crossbows are killing the Knights. So I don't actually know how it wins when it's like even resources, but the Knights of the enemy, or the crossbows should kill the Knights faster. So technically the Knights could then kill the longbows, but then you don't know how much that's going to be. Like, you know what? Now that the more I think about it, the more I think crossbow is going to be better than crossbow, or crossbow knight is going to be better than longbow knight, just simply because it's better to have knights than it is to have longbows. And so because of that, I think that crossbow knight will probably become the dominant play. But at the same time, who knows? Maybe you can just make so many more longbows. What's the cost difference? It's not a huge amount, is it? Yeah, you're talking 90 resources versus 120. So it's not a huge amount. Like, you're talking, what, 40 longbows versus 30 crossbows? Is that what we're talking? I would always prefer the 30 crossbows, just because they're going to one-shot a knight, one-shot another knight, one-shot another knight, and then once you've got, like, it doesn't matter if you lose all your crossbows. If you've got knight superiority, then you just steamroll over the top of the enemy longbowmen, because they're just longbows, right? Like, they're not spears. So, yeah, I think that as we see the meta evolve, that will become the case. But take a look at this. And now we start to see that real difference with that King's Palace. So I feel like if you're going for the White Tower, you have to be going for tempo. So I do think we're going to see like players go for maybe even like 1 TC into White Tower, just super fast knights, just constant knight spam, because this is 2 stable knights, right? Like you could just look to do an absolute flood of knights. I actually like that. Imagine if we start seeing that 1 TC White Tower into non-stop knights, because even though it's an English base, like, it doesn't matter, right? Even in a mirror or in any kind of game. But against an English base, it doesn't really matter, because as long as you get your ranged armor, you're fine. Sacred Sight does get picked up. Relics coming back as well. Salami on 2 relics. The Muslim also on 2. That last relic in the back of the base. It's going to be looking to pick it up now. And the king is out. And Salami playing a nice composition here. So we do see he's going to be going for Crossbow Knight. Oh, here we go. Well. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It is Crossbow Knight against Knight Longbow, as we theorized. Now, my money is on Salami. How are his upgrades, though? That's the question I'm going to have. So no melee upgrades, only 1 ranged upgrade, compared to 1 melee upgrade and 2 ranged attack. So when it comes to the unit numbers, we've got 10 and 16 versus 10 and 19. So it's pretty damn close. In fact, you'd have to give an advantage. So I think we're about to find out who is the victor, but these knights are deciding to go elsewhere. Let's see. Let's take a look and see how Muslim looks to try and hold this right now. He's also mixing crossbows himself, going for a spring or two. Salami just chilling out for the moment. Remember that network of castles is also going to be applied here. Those knights making their way back, realizing that, hey, hold on a minute. We got to make sure. Are these villagers coming up? No, they're not. I was expecting Salami to bring up villagers just so that he can drop down his own outpost. I feel like that's really important in this English mirror. If you're going to go on the aggressive, you need to be fighting with your network of castles, just because if you fight without it, it's going to be so difficult. Your enemy's got a huge amount of attack speed that is, look at that, 40% attack speed. Now, I don't actually know if that's 40. I think it's 30%, but that's a massive advantage compared to what you've got. But we're going to enter into the cinematic mode right now because the Muslim and Salami, they're looking to get in on the action. Crossbows moving forward. Let's see how much damage they're able to do as the knights come in. Looking to hit on the back line. King going to be in there as well. And the crossbows need to be making sure that they're focusing down those knights. They want to hit the high health ones, and you can see how much damage they're able to do. But at the same time, on the backside, the longbows are just untouched at the moment. And it seems like the numbers, look at the longbows, just how much damage they're able to put out. And it's a combination of that network of castles and just having that extra reinforcements continuing to come in. Double Springwood coming in for the memes as well. And it looks like he manages to break even, but with those reinforcements are going to make all the difference here. So I think at the moment, is it the cat is still out? Or I don't know exactly how to say it. I appreciate that Muslim wins that fight, but I can't help but feel like Salami did pretty decently as well. So, I feel like we're going to have to wait and see. We're going to need to do some additional testing, but it definitely did seem close, though, didn't it? I think the most important thing is to just focus down those high health units when you've got a decent mass of crossbows. Because if you take a look at the damage that they're putting out 23 damage, and you're up against 5 or 6 ranged armor, so that's 15 damage a pop. So you need about 15, 16 of them to actually one-shot. And speaking of one-shot, oh my lord, in one shot, the Wingard Palace is going up. Oh, no, 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 no. The Muslim is heading imp. He somehow found a window to do this. I mean, he took a fight and he went pretty even on it, managed to hold, and now he's up 30 vills. This is good game right here. You get Imperial, you get to your Wingard armies before your enemy. This is just GG. Like, Salami could just... I wouldn't be surprised if Salami just taps out any second right now because, I mean, sure, you can push with battering rams, but, like, what are you going to do? Your enemy's imp, they get elite knights, and they just destroy you. Let's have a look and see what Muslim does from here. He looks to pick up Military Academy, also picking up some additional longbow upgrades, and going to start stonewalling this entire north side of the map. Still got quite a villager lead, up 34 villagers here. A huge amount of villagers. And that Wingard, what's he going for? Oh, he's going for the Wingard Footman. Oh, no. The Wingard Footman make an appearance. This game has got everything right now. I tell you what, I was excited about... Oh, let me change that bad boy over for you guys. Sorry about that. We're 22 minutes into this game. I tell you what, I was excited about the prospect of 2 English players going up against each other. And then all of a sudden, they went different landmarks. And now all of a sudden, we've got Wingard Footman getting out onto the field. Tell you what, Salami might be in a world of hurt right here. Now, Wingard Footmen, I'm pretty sure they still do count as armored units. I know that the King doesn't actually count as an armored unit. And it looks like Muslim's going to be coming in from the west side. Where are those footmen? Get those footmen over here right now. Footmen coming in. We enter into the cinematic mode as the footmen look to make their attack onto the field. The first ever casted game featuring the footmen. And they chase away those villagers. Get out of here. Look at them battering down all of those villagers. And Muslim going to clean up this position completely. And good game does get called. Salami tapping out. Muslim victorious. Fellas, I hope you've enjoyed this casted game. Make sure you check out these 2 creators. I'll leave links in the description. They both stream in English. They're both over on Twitch, and they're both probably live right now. They stream all the time. So go say good day from me, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.